Hello everyone, welcome to Chessvisor, your wise choice to improve your chess. Let's talk about this game played between Hikaru Nakamura and Magnus Carlsen. This game actually happened in chess.com's titled Tuesday, Blitz October yearly edition, and it was round number 9. And a few hours ago only this tournament has come to an end and Hikaru Nakamura won the tournament. So anyway, let's check this game. Before that, if you are watching this channel for the first time, please consider subscribing to the channel and press the bell icon to get notified for the future videos. So here Hikaru was handling white pieces and he starts the game with 1 a3. So with the first move itself, Hikaru starts trolling Magnus, and here Magnus plays g5, and here immediately white has some huge advantage in the opening itself because we can simply play e4, and now Magnus plays c5. It is now like a accelerated Smith-Morra gambit, but with the pawns like inserted on a3 as well as on g5. So here after this move he goes c takes d4 and queen takes d4. A very logical move, hits the rook in the corner. After knight f6, Hikaru plays bishop takes g5, and now comes knight c6 hitting the queen. And here Hikaru simply drops the queen to d3, and we have queen to b6 here. And here in this position actually he plays the move bishop to c1. Instead of that, Hikaru could have gone with this move, that is bishop takes f6. After e takes f6 we have queen b5, trying to exchange the queens off the board, because this ruined pawn structure is not going to help Magnus in the ending. So that is why it is already kind of strategically winning for white here. So that's why queen b5 is a very logical move here. The game could continue with the f5, knight c3, bishop g7, e takes f5, bishop takes c3 check, b takes c3, and still white is kind of better. So going back in the game, Hikaru simply retreats the bishop to c1, defends b2, and here Magnus simply threatens f2 here with the knight, and here comes knight h3. And after d6 we have knight c3 by Hikaru, knight ge5 hitting the queen goes to b5 now, and now this time Magnus immediately captures the queen and going into an queenless middle game here. So after bishop takes b5, in this position it was better to capture with the knight because it threatens something on the c7 square. It is not that white is going to win on exchange completely, so this knight would be trapped. And one more thing is that now black could insert this move, bishop takes h3. So now we have two choices. One is to simply go for the fork, that is not going to help white, but the move is f4, simply hits the knight, and black could castle. And after f takes e5, bishop e6 retreating the bishop, and now comes e takes d6, and still it's kind of okay, but white is slightly better. So going back in the game, he plays bishop takes b5. We have bishop takes h3 by Magnus, g takes h3. We have a6 cushioning the bishop's post. We have bishop e2, knight to d4, and now comes the move king to d1. So simply defending the fork here. And after knight takes e2, we have knight takes e2. It was better to capture with the king, because once the bishop is out, the what do you say, this rook would be connected automatically, right? So without any effort. But in the game he plays knight takes e2, and it kind of undevelops the knight here. So he goes rook c8, immediately putting it on a semi-open file. So b3 we have rook g8, and then bishop e3 developing a piece, and now comes b5, a4, so trying to ruin the pawn structure again. So we have b4, and now Hikaru immediately plays the move a5 to disconnect the pawn structure. We have e6 by Magnus. We have rook a2 defending c2. So we have bishop e7, knight g3, and after king to d7, Magnus has connected his rooks here. So king e2, and now the finally Hikaru involves his final rook into the game. So bishop to d8, and now comes rook to d1. So now the d6 pawn is pinned, and after rook to b8, I think Magnus should have done something about this, like bishop e7. So something like that he could have played, but in the game he goes rook b8. But I think this kind of loses the game here, because after f4 your knight has been kicked out. So knight c6. It's not that Magnus is losing immediately, but he is going to lose a pawn here. So bishop c5 threatening the pawn here, and after bishop c7 he simply sacks the bishop, and this is a brilliant move according to chess.com's review. So here after bishop takes d6 we have e5, and now after king c7 he plays e takes d6, and now Hikaru has created a clear pauser on the d file. It's very stronger because it is on the 6th rank. And let's see how Magnus stops this idea. So king d7, we have knight e4 threatening the fork, Instead of that move, black could have played after this move king d7. He played knight e4, and here knight g2. Excuse me, rook g2 check was played by Magnus. Instead of that, he could have played king to simply d8 move. So because after this move, maybe knight c5, and then rook b5, knight takes a6, king d7, and then king e3, rook h5. So black could have some kind of counter attack. So this was kind of equal, but still in the game he plays rook g2 check. That's kind of blunder here. After king f3, your rook is under attack, and not only that, knight c5 check is coming, and then pawn to d7 is coming. So I think it's not playable for black now. So after rook takes h2, and now knight c5 check, and once king drops to e8, and now there is no escape square for the king. So the winning move here is simply rook g1, because it's a mating threat. Because if you do some random move, let's say you play this move, and there is a back rank issue is going on, so rook g8 is a checkmate. So going back, what Magnus could have tried in this position, when knight c5 check was given, he should have dropped the king to c8. If we play the same move now, rook g1, but now black could play rook takes h3 check. But after, let's say, king f2, and now I think rook to b5, something like that he could play, something rook b5. But now this check is not going to benefit that much. Still white is better, but I think black could manage this position. So going back, after this king e8, after rook to g1 by Hikaru, in this position actually Magnus resigns the game. Why he resigns? Because it is threatening mate in 1. If you have to defend this mate, you have to play something like knight e7. You are going to give up a piece here. So after d takes e7, king takes e7, we have knight takes a6, and this pawn is going to fall, and Hikaru would have these 3 passes on the queen side, and it is simply losing the game. And also Hikaru has a piece completely up. So that is why, considering all of this, after rook to g1 in this position, Magnus simply gives up. So what a game by Hikaru. He started the game with a3, and he delivered a brilliant move in the middle game, that was bishop takes d6, sacrificing the bishop, and getting the bishop back. And because of this rook to g2 check, I think by Magnus it was blundered, and that's why Magnus could not recover the game from, or after the rook g2 check. I hope you enjoy this quick commentary on this game. If you do so, please give it a thumbs up. Let me know your ideas, thoughts, suggestions in the comment section below. Thank you so much for watching this video till the end. Still, if you're not subscribed to my YouTube channel, please consider subscribing to the channel and press the bell icon to get notified for the future videos. As usual, this is Chess Wiser, your wise choice to improve your chess.